What did they say? They said, we're going to issue a gold-backed currency. What happened? We killed them. And, we started the Iraq War, the Middle East wars. The military today is no longer, Russia and China no longer, fear our militaries like they did once upon a time. If you look at the hypersonic ability of Russia today, we don't have anything that can come even close.
Bill Holtor, former Wall Street broker manager and market expert, discusses an important moment when gold-backed currency became viable. This potential initiative, however, came up against abrupt opposition, causing a surprising turn of events. As a result of this decision, major geopolitical developments occurred, including the Iraq War and other conflicts in the Middle East. Keep up with Bill Holtor to learn more about today's video.
99% probability that it's bullshit. And it's gotten so bad now because of AI that you can actually watch videos or see pictures or what have you with your own eyes that are made up. So you really need to be careful. If something doesn't smell right or seem right to you, you can be pretty sure that it's not right. So from a geopolitical standpoint, the U.S. is, at this point, probably have lost the leadership of the world, but at least is losing leadership to the world. And I think the only comparison you can make, and in the article I talked about, or I just mentioned that from the 1600s on in the West, you had the Dutch leading the world, then you had the Spanish, then the French, then the British, and then the U.S. after Bretton Woods. I think the only real comparison that you can make of a power, losing that power would be the Roman Empire. The United States, obviously, from a time standpoint, the Roman Empire lasted far longer. But what the U.S. has done, what they did as far as building power and what they've done to lose power completely dwarfs. Look at the debt ratios. You can look at, well, you can't look at unemployment because that's a complete lie. You can't look at the official inflation numbers because that's a complete lie. And they're telling you that inflation's 4%, and there are some things that are going up 4% in the last 30 days. So from a financial standpoint, so that's what, 4 of the 5? What was the one I'm missing? If you go back to 1929, that was an absolute disaster. You had the 1930s, you had the Great Depression. It was not a fully global problem from the standpoint, today, everything is global. Trade is global. Pretty much all countries do business with the majority of the other countries as far as trade. Same thing goes for finance. But back in the 1930s, because we didn't have computers, we didn't have instant information, and there were areas that were completely unaffected by the Great Depression. Today, that's not the case. And one other big important difference was back then, you had currencies that were real money. They were backed by gold. In other words, dollars were derivatives of gold. Dollars were exchangeable into gold. Today, that's not the case. The case today is probably 60 to 70% of the central banks worldwide use dollars as their main reserve currency. So you're using a currency that's issued by a bankrupt, by an insolvent entity. What happens when the U.S. goes down? Are these other countries going to be unaffected? No, their central banks will collapse and their currencies are going to collapse. So this is truly a global event, whereas the last, real bad depression was not totally global. Yes, it affected Europe. Yes, it affected the United States. Asia was relatively unaffected. You had Russia relatively unaffected. South America, Africa. Where were they back in the 1930s? They were probably still sending smoke signals for communication. So today's different because it's all engulfing and information is pretty much immediate. One lie that's going to unravel, in my opinion, as I said, I think Biden's either going to step down or get impeached or whatever, but that's going to hurt the dollar. It's already hurting the dollar. I mean, foreigners, how confident can a foreigner be that wants to put money into a safe haven? It used to be the U.S. because we had a hard, fast, and just rule of law. And the rule of law now is gone. And to see the leader of the United States, took millions upon millions of dollars in bribes, how much confidence is that going to give to foreigners to put money into the U.S.? And I've said this for 10 plus years, the entire system runs on confidence. And the point I'm trying to make is, as these lies, and there's so many of them, as these lies unravel and get exposed, confidence is going to break more and more and more, to the point where something somewhere, I can't tell you what it is, I can't tell you which of the 5 areas it will be, geopolitics, politics, finance, I don't know what area it's going to be, but something is going to break. And as everything else is boiling, everything else is going to break. That's what I was going to say is, for the last 10 years, the real prop to the dollar has been the U.S. military. But what have we seen in the last 2.5, 3 years? We saw basically our military get their ass kicked on the way out of Afghanistan. The U.S. military, on a readiness basis, has never been this unready, probably in my lifetime, and I'm 60 years old. The big thing, think about in the past, like Gaddafi, Saddam Hussein. What did they say? They said, we're going to issue a gold-backed currency. What happened? We killed them. And, we started the Iraq War, the Middle East wars. The military today is no longer, Russia and China no longer, fear our militaries like they did once upon a time. If you look at the hypersonic ability of Russia today, we don't have anything that can come even close. So, if they start firing hypersonic missiles, what's our defense? There is none. I would just say, I generally tell people to try to prepare, try to get out of the system, try to become as self-reliant as possible. And I would tell you now, do as much as you can, as quickly as you can, because something tells me, I feel that because there are so many different areas that are boiling, the pot's going to boil over somewhere, and it's going to affect everything else, and the whole thing is going to go.
Certainly, the conversation with Bill Holtor offers a glimpse into a pivotal moment in history, when financial decisions reverberated through the geopolitical landscape. It underscores the evolving challenges and dynamics facing nations today, particularly in the realm of defense. Stay tuned for more insightful discussions on these critical topics. Subscribe to this channel and share this video with your loved ones. Thank you.